Okay, we're here with Coach Wilcox for our Tuesday media availability. If you have a question for Coach, go ahead and let me know in the chat. And we'll go ahead and get started with Jeff Ferrato.
Good morning, Justin. Can you give us an update, first of all, on the status of Sam Jackson, Matthew Cindric, and Nate Burrell? And if Sam is able to play, would you still be using two quarterbacks in this game, or do you know yet?
Yeah, so Sam's day to day. He was out there running around practicing today, and we will make that decision when the time is right. But nothing to announce today there. In terms of Cindo, we'll see. Kind of getting a little more information. And Nate Burrell should be back and ready for action on Saturday.
Okay, we'll move to Michael Wagaman, and we'll stick with the single question on the first round and ask follow-up second time around. Michael?
I'm sorry, Carl. I didn't have a question for Justin.
Okay. Are there other questions for Coach Wilcox here? Let me know in the chat. We'll go to Steve Kroner from the San Francisco Chronicle. Steve, you
just in a couple of days after the game, what was there anything, when you look back at that game that surprised you either positively or negatively than what you saw from the field?
No, not necessarily surprising. There was some, good things. I felt like the guys came out with good energy. We competed hard, rotated a lot of players, which we knew that we would. I think offensively, when we stayed in rhythm and, stayed away from those pre-snap and or technique errors, that we moved the ball really efficiently, ran it pretty well, hit some big runs, did some good things in the pass game. I was really proud of the guys who stepped up, when we had a couple injuries during that first half. And we're able to put a bunch of points up on the board. Special teams wise, I thought there was some good effort. We got to get better in some areas that became evident. But it was good to get some guys some reps there. Defensively, it was the two explosive plays really, were the things that showed up. The two explosive passes, one miscommunication, one technique error that we got to eliminate. They played pretty solid other than that, and took the ball away 3 times, which was key. Second half was really strong. I thought the complexion of the game, it was those middle 8 minutes, last 4 minutes of the first half, and then the first 4 minutes of the second half really changed the complexion of the game. So I'm happy with their effort. There's a lot to improve upon, as we all know.
Okay, we'll move on. Are there others actually with first round questions? Okay, actually there are. We'll go to Thomas Dunn from Right for California.
Good morning, Justin. When it comes to game planning for Auburn, how tough is it to put attention on their tailback, Jarquez Hunter, with his status up in the air for this Saturday's game?
Yeah, we'll see what happens. They got some very talented running backs. They didn't have the full stable of them last week, but we know they have a lot of talent in that room. And so we got to do the best we can, preparing, knowing that they'll have really good players across the board on offense, defense, and special teams. But he's a very talented guy, no doubt.
Okay, we'll go to Michael Wagaman now from Bear Insider.
Hey, Justin, I wasn't there post-game, and you might have answered this question back then. I know the quarterbacks were all close competition leading in, but what pleased you best about the way Ben stepped in and handled himself and just kind of carried the offense, or ran the offense?
Yeah, we weren't surprised that Ben went in and played well. Thought he showed strong command of the offense, confident. He stood in there and threw the ball, was decisive. He wasn't perfect, and he would tell you that, but I think he did a really good job. And the first play comes in, I think we're on a third down, and rips it out there on the perimeter, get a first down off of it. And anyway, I thought Ben did a really nice job, but it wasn't surprising to us who had been around him during fall camp.
Anybody else with a question the first time around? Okay, we'll go back to Jeff Ferrato, and then anybody with secondary questions and follow-ups, let me know in the chat.
Justin, if you do have both quarterbacks available, would you be tempted to play both, or your plan a week ago was to play Sam all the way through unless something happened? Wondering where you're at now.
Yeah, that's a decision we'll make, Jeff. Probably not one we're going to be discussing during the week, but I suppose everything is on the table. But really, I thought, again, Ben did a really nice job. Sam did some really good things when he was in there. So, yeah, we'll see where that all goes during the week.
Okay, any other questions for Coach? Jeff, go ahead. You feel free to ask follow-ups, Jeff.
Okay. Can you talk about what you saw from Auburn's defensive pressure? They had 4 sacks, I think 6 quarterback hurries. Will this be a different level of challenge for your offensive line?
Yeah, I mean, physically, just different level athletically, size, speed, quickness. That's going to be noticeable from week 1. And that's not a slight on North Texas at all. It's just different. And so, they're very big up front. They played quite a few guys. They play some 4 down, some tight or odd front. They got quarters coverage, nickel pressures, boundary pressures. They kind of mix it up. They do a good job. Coach Spav actually has crossed over and competed against Coach Roberts quite a bit. But they did a good job. And athletically, they're an SEC team that's got a lot of quick twitch athletes, and they're big up front.
Can you talk a little bit about their quarterback situation? They used 2, I guess, by design, and the one kid who was from Oregon a couple years back was very effective in the red zone running the ball, and the other guy, who I guess was Sam's quarterback when they were both at high school together, he throws the ball pretty well, it looks like. Can you make anything out of what they did the other day?
Yeah, I think you're on it. Thorne has played a lot of football, Michigan State, and then, he's got a lot of experience. He throws the ball well. He seems to command their offense very well. He can still run. And then Ashford is a really unique athlete. You saw where he gets in there and is really, really hard to tackle. So a different element, but both very talented players. Yeah.
I can ask one more follow before I give this up a minute. Can you just talk about what it means to have an SEC team come to play at your place? And these teams don't travel out here very often. In fact, Hugh Freeze yesterday said that he hates traveling, and my guess is he didn't schedule this game, so he probably wouldn't do it again. But what's it mean for you guys to have a chance to have an SEC team, playing at your place?
Oh, it's great. I think it's the first game ever between Auburn and Cal, so we're excited to be a part of it. Storied tradition there at Auburn, storied conference tradition. And I think it'd be great for our fans and players. I know they're looking forward to it. And what's most important, though, for us is, preparing and having a great week of practice and preparation. That's going to be the most important thing. And I got a ton of respect for them. They're well coached. They are a very talented team. So we're looking forward to the challenge.
Okay, we'll go back to Steve Croner from the San Francisco Chronicle.
It doesn't kind of follow up on Jeff's question there. You played and beat an SEC team twice, Mississippi, and sometimes in that vein, you're talking about representing the Pac-12 against another power conference. Well, the Pac-12 is in its last season, it appears. Do you still get the same sense of pride, not only for Cal but for the Pac-12? And going against an SEC team, or is that a little different now?
Well, I think you always want to represent, your brand, the conference, the logo, the name on your back. I don't think our guys need extra motivation to represent themselves, their team, the school anymore. I think
Kyle.
I think they're highly motivated group of guys, and so that's what I think. I think our guys are going to come motivated to play because they want to represent, their teammates and the name on their jersey, and yeah, maybe the Pac-12. I think that's all probably part of it, but I don't know that it's any added extra motivation that's needed.
Okay, before we proceed here, are you guys hearing this or no?
I lost sound for about 8 or 10 seconds, then it came back. I'm not sure that was at your end or mine.
Okay, sounds like we're okay then. Jim McGill, or actually Thomas Dunn is next in the queue. Thomas?
So, Justin, we've asked you a ton about what it's like preparing with two quarterbacks for yourselves, but what's it like preparing from the opposite end and preparing for two quarterbacks, like with Peyton Thorne and Robbie Ashford, and like getting a certain time just to prepare for one versus the other?
Yeah, I mean, you have the information that's on the tape, based on what they've shown, and then you're always going to see something new or different. That's why teams game plan, and that's why there's coaches. So we'll see some things during the game that haven't been on tape, but that's what the week of preparation is for. And then you got to play on principle. And we've done this before. Like I said, we go back and look at what they've done, put a game plan together. They got really talented players, and we expect to see multiple quarterbacks, multiple running backs. We'll see multiple receivers, and yeah, they're a challenging offense to prepare for, but our guys are looking forward to it.
Okay, we'll go to Jim McGill. We do ask that you go on mute if you're not asking the question. Thank you. Jim, you got to come off mute, Jim. Okay, we'll go back to Jeff Ferrado while Jim figures this out. Go ahead, Jeff.
Justin, Michael Luckhurst looked real good for you in fall camp, and then 1 for 3 on field goals. Have you figured out kind of what happened there? Are you still real confident he's your guy, or does that open up the situation for others?
Yeah, I am. I'm confident in Michael. It's talked a lot about the process of, kicking those field goals. And I have full confidence in Michael, and we'll put him back out there again.
Was there one thing that was the issue, or did you just miss him?
Yeah, I mean, it's, there's those guys, it's such a unique skill. And for all you, I guess, there's the golfer analogy and, hitting that the same every time, keeping that swing the same. And, when one little thing is off, that can kind of throw off the rhythm. But he's a very talented young man, and we got confidence in him.
And he still got his own confidence?
Absolutely. And he should.
Okay, we'll go to Matt Moreno from Cal Rivals.
You've talked a lot throughout the offseason about kind of those moment of truth plays, the 50-50 balls, all those types of things. You obviously have alluded to the explosive plays. I mean, how did you think the defense did in particular, or maybe both sides of the ball, in those moments and coming into this week?
Yeah, I would say we were better, but defensively, we got to eliminate those explosive passes. The first one was more of a communication error, which is frustrating, but I expect those guys to clean that up. And the second one was a technique error, and we got beat up over the top. But I think it's, you got to track those things. You got to address the issues and work on them so you don't make the same mistake twice. And, eliminating explosive plays is a simple concept, but it's, not easy because the other teams have schemes and they have good players. And so conceptually it's simple, but there's a lot to that. And so I'm confident the guys will continue to play better. I thought, other than those two plays, the defense really played pretty well. I thought we tackled pretty well. Again, the level of explosiveness and speed is going to be different this week. So it'll be a new challenge and one that they'll be excited for. Offensively, I think the 50-50 balls, I thought we were pretty good, but still have room to get better. And I'm excited for those guys to keep growing that receiver group. But I thought a number of guys made some contested catches, and we need to continue to see that.
Okay, Jim, are you ready now? If you're ready,
yeah.
Go ahead, Jim.
Yeah. So, Justin, you didn't seem particularly interested in talk about the weather heading into Texas, but now that the game's over, did the weather have much of an impact on you guys? And did your increased depth over recent years play a solid role? And did you sense that they started to wear down in the second half?
Well, we had one or maybe two kind of cramping issues during the game. But other than that, we rotated a lot of players. The way the game plays out will also impact those things because offensively, we put some drive together. We were rotating some receivers, rotating some running backs. Tight ends were in and out. Defensively, we only played 50 some snaps. And in the second half, we didn't play very many snaps at all. That was a combination of getting 3 and outs or a turnover and the offense moving the ball well. So, if the defense plays 95 snaps, then there might be more to discuss. But, so the way the game played out, I think impacted it. And then having more people to roll through obviously helps. But it really, wasn't a thing. I mean, it was warm for those of you that were there, but I thought they did a good job hydrating. I thought our trainers and strength staff and everybody who was on board to help with that did a really good job as well.
Okay, we'll go back to Jeff Verano.
You are you curious and eager to see how your run game functions against a team of this level? You seem to set the tone with your run game on Saturday, and it set up the pass nicely for you. This will be different because of their size, as you said. But can you talk about what Jaden and maybe Isaiah, what you hope to see from them against Auburn?
Yeah, we're looking for efficient runs always, and we had some efficient runs. We had some explosive runs. It's a different new challenge this week. Again, the size, speed is going to be significant. And so I think everybody's excited for that challenge. And we did a great job last week, but this is a new week. We got to continue to raise the bar. We've challenged them on that starting on Monday with the, first team meeting back. And, we talked a little bit in the locker room after the game, like that's the floor. Now we gotta raise the bar every week. Staying the same is not good enough. So it'll be a great challenge and test this weekend.
And you saw what Isaiah did, obviously, at Montana State, and you watched him in fall camp. But were you impressed with how he transitioned to this level and how effective he was for you?
Yeah, we've got to see him in practice, and so we've seen some of that balance and strength from him. He's a really tough guy, and again, you saw some of those runs. The one in particular on the 4th and 2, where he broke a number of tackles. That was great to see. And then on his one of those other touchdowns, we got him the ball and on the edge and made it maybe 2 more missed tackles. So really good job by him, and happy for him. It means a lot to him to be out there.